Alright, this is Boxing with the Truth, and I'm the Truth. And today we're here with New Mexico's #1 prospect out of Golden Boy Promotions, Fidel Maldonado Jr. How you doing today, Fidel?
I'm doing pretty good.
So let's talk about a few things in your career first. Your pro record is actually 19 wins by 16 knockouts with 2 losses, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you have a very impressive amateur record. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's 118 wins with 12 losses.
Yeah, that's right.
And you were actually #2 in the United States when you're an amateur, right?
Yeah.
And you also, in 2008, you won the United States Future Stars National Championship.
No, I took second place. That's why I was second in the country.
Okay, so you ended up taking second, okay.
Yeah, I lost to the Olympic ultimate.
You are a southpaw, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but currently you are the WBC Youth World Lightweight Champion, right?
No, I lost that to Fernando Carcamo. I'm the current WBC lightweight Latin American champion.
Okay. And according to BoxRec, you're 10th in the world. You're 10th in the United States and 24th in the world.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. How do you feel about that?
It's good for now, but I want to get higher up there.
Well, yeah, everybody wants to climb the ladder. But it's not an easy road to get there, and we're going to get to that in a minute, exactly how your next test is going to be probably the hardest one of your career. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's a hard test, but I've always been putting in hard, so it really don't matter.
Okay, also, you got Fighter of the Year in New Mexico last year, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start off. How exactly did you get involved in boxing?
Well, I was going to start off playing baseball when I was 8. And, I always fought all my cousins and stuff since I was, 3. And they always wanted me to box, and one day I was going to play baseball. My dad asked me what I wanted to do, and I told him I want to fight. So, instead of going to baseball, I started boxing, and the rest is just history.
Okay, did you you grew up in Albuquerque? Have you lived there all your life?
Yes.
Okay, and you know there's another big name boxer that came out of Albuquerque, right? Johnny Tapia?
Yeah.
Now, are you a fan of his? Have you watched tape on him? Have you studied his fight game?
Yeah, I watched his fights. I watched his fight against Daniel Miller and a couple other ones. He's an awesome fighter. He's a great guy. Well, he was a great guy, rest in peace. But, yeah, he's an awesome person.
And, like I said, you are a prospect. You are in Golden Boy Promotions. You've been in other TV fights before, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and this fight coming up January 17th, the undercard of Stiverne versus Wilder on Showtime. Like I said, this is going to probably be the hardest test of your career yet. Your opponent is Amir Imam, and he is 15-0 with 13 knockouts. So we know that you have a lot of power, and apparently this guy seems to have a lot of power. So this could be a short night for somebody.
Yeah, I don't plan on going the distance.
I also was looking at the people that he's fought and the people that you fought, and when you knock people out, they don't seem to make it past the second or third round. And when he knocks people out, they don't seem to make it past the second or third round. So this fight might not even make it to the 4th round. What do you think about that? Do you have an opinion on that?
I'm going to go out there and feel him out, see what he got, and just go back to the corner and have my trainer adjust in the fight and go out there and get the W.
Have you watched any tape on him? Have you seen him fight before? Do you know anything about him?
Yeah, I watched a couple of his fights, and back when I was in the amateurs, we were supposed to fight a couple times. But one of us lost one time, and I lost the other. Well, I got ripped off, but I lost the other time. And so we never met up. And then he moved up a weight, and I went pro, so.
Okay, so you guys actually are familiar with each other and have known about each other for a while then. So this fight's kind of been coming.
Well, I never really started him or nothing till now, but yeah, we could have fought in amateurs, because he's fighting at 32, then he moved up to 41 and 52, and now he's fighting at 40, but that don't really bother me, because I got a guy in my gym, he's 5'11", the same size as the guy, has long reach, and he's been helping me out, Brian Mendoza.
So now you've gotten a lot of attention your entire boxing career in the amateurs, now in the pros. Like I said, you're a prospect, you've been on TV, you're getting big national fights. So how do you stay so humble with all this attention?
Just putting God first, and the Bible says you have to be humble person. That's why I try to be a humble person, because it don't matter what it is in life, you never know what can happen. And in the room, anything can happen. In life, anything can happen. So you just gotta stay humble.
Okay, and then I want to touch this briefly on last year, February 10th. You were supposed to fight Stephen Forbes, and something happened there, some medical issue with him, and you ended up fighting John Nader. So what exactly happened with that fight?
He got eye surgery or something like that, like a week or two before the fight, and the doctors didn't clear him to fight because of his eyes. So that fight didn't happen, and they replaced him with John Nader. And he was supposed to be a power puncher too, but I went in there and took care of business.
Yeah, but you took care of John Nader pretty quick. I believe it was in the 4th round, right?
I think 4th or 5th. He didn't come out for the next round.
Okay, so were you a little disappointed when you didn't get to fight a guy with the name Steve Forbes, you know, the reputation he's got? I mean, were you a little disappointed?
I was a little, just because I wanted to show what I was about, but God works in mysterious ways, and that's what ended up happening, so you gotta take it as it comes.
Do you hope somewhere down the line that you'll still get that fight, or doesn't it matter to you?
It doesn't really matter. I'll fight whoever they want, and they offered me this guy, and I said yeah, so I've never said no to a fight, and I'm not going to start now.
Okay, now in your last fight, Fernando Silva, that was a no contest. From what I heard, there was a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, almost like a street fight. What happened with that fight?
Well, I went in there, and I was just picking him apart. I had him opened up, I was warming up, filling him out, see what he had, and he started jumping me with his head at me. He headbutted me a couple times, and I told the ref, and the ref told me it was my fault. So I didn't really know what to do, so I just changed it up, and I leaned down a couple times, and he kept on jumping on my shoulder. And the first time, I told the ref, and the ref didn't do nothing, and the guy hit me. So I didn't let him do it again, and he hit up on my shoulder, and I stood up, and he stayed on my shoulder. And the ref told me. And then the round ended, I hurt him, I busted him up. I hit him with a body shot, and I was just warming up. And the second round came, and he jumped on me again, and I bumped him off me. And he jumped on the floor and disqualified us.
So I'm taking it that you probably don't want to end up fighting him again, right?
It really don't matter, I just don't want that ref. Because that ref, he ref before, he ref over my fight, and he took points from me for no reason. And luckily I knocked the guy out. Otherwise I would probably got disqualified or something by that guy.
Okay, now in the beginning of your career you went 13-0, and then you took two tough losses. You lost and took a TKO in a second round, and then you took a real tough decision loss. What did you learn from those 2 losses to be able to kind of shake them off and get back on the horse? Because I've seen since those 2 losses, you're back on a winning streak.
Well, the first one was kind of my fault because I went in there big-headed, like I was in that throwing out. That one was easy. And I went in and I got humbled. And it was just what I needed, though. I went back and they offered me better. And I said, yeah, because I always say, yeah. And I thought I edged the fight. It was a close fight. It was a good fight. But I thought I took over the second half. And then with the knockdown, I think that secured me the win. But that's just part of boxing.
Okay, so do you have any superstitions or rituals or habits that you need to do before a fight?
Not really. I just pray to God and that's it.
Okay, if you weren't a pro boxer, what do you think you'd be doing with your life?
I don't even know, honestly. This is all I've done my whole life, so I never thought about doing anything else.
So yeah, so you really have no idea, huh?
Well, I started going to school. I took this semester off, but I've been going to school and to be a fitness technician.
To be a what technician?
A fitness technician, like a personal trainer.
Oh, okay, fitness. Do you consider yourself a silent boxer, or do you just do your work in the ring, or do you like to engage with trash talk with your opponents?
No, I really want to talk trash to someone. There ain't no reason for it. It's just, unless it's like for the entertainment, that's when some people do it. Because this is an entertainment. But I don't really want to trash talk.
Okay, do you have a favorite boxer that you idolize, that you've kind of took your style after, or somebody that you really grew up watching?
Not really. I like a lot of fighters. I don't have one favorite one. I watch a lot of them. I get in different styles and try them out in the ring when I spar and stuff, and I just try them out, see if I can use them.
Okay, and since you've been basically a fighter all your life, how has boxing affected your life?
It affected in a positive way. It kept me out of trouble because I started boxing when I was 8, but I was with my dad, and he's my trainer, so he helped keep me out of trouble, and I was in the gym, too tired to go out and do anything stupid. So it kept me on a positive track, and now I got a family because of boxing, because I met my girlfriend in the gym, and now I got 2 kids, one on the way, and it just affected me in a very positive way. I met a lot of great people in it.
Okay, and what's something that your boxing fans don't know about you?
I don't really know. I'm really like an open person. Most people, I'm kind of quiet most of the time, but once you get to know me, you can't shut me up. So, cause I joke a lot, like with my friends and stuff, and like my only friends that I really have are in the gym, and that's all I do is joke. I'm a jokester, I guess.
Okay. So what do you have any type of normal things that you do after a fight? I mean, do you kind of relax, or do you go out and hang out in the clubs, or what do you do?
No, I really want to go to a club. I've been to a club once, and it really wasn't my thing. I didn't like it, the atmosphere, so I've never been back to one. And it was just because a buddy of mine, after I fought, he threw an after party for me, and all my friends went. And it really wasn't my thing, so I never went back. So after my fight, I just wait till the next day or whenever the plane Fridays, come back home and come spend time with my family.
Okay, is there one person that inspires you, Fidel, inside and outside the ring?
My dad.
And he's also your trainer, correct?
Yes.
Now, to get back to the fight on January 17th, so you do consider this the biggest fight of your career to date, right?
Yeah, it's the biggest fight of my career besides Luis Ramos.
And what do you think you're going to have to do convincingly to win this fight?
Go out there, use smart pressure, because this guy thinks I'm going to just come straight forward. He probably thinks he's going to knock me out, but because of my TKO stoppage. But no one really knows, but I broke my jaw in that fight in the first round when I got dropped. And I couldn't close my mouth or nothing. And I didn't tell my corner that I couldn't close my mouth. I just went out there and started fighting because I'm a warrior, that's what I do. And I think this guy's going to underestimate me. And hopefully he doesn't, because that's going to try against him.
Well, hopefully he doesn't. I mean, if he looks at your records and your opponents, he's going to have to be aware of the fact that you've knocked out almost, all your opponents as well. So, actually, it's basically the same ratio because you've had 19 wins with 16 knockouts. He's had 15 wins with 13 knockouts. So, I mean, you guys are pretty similar on the KO ratio, on the percentage. So, honestly, I don't see this fight going the distance.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to take it round by round, and we'll see how it goes. It don't really matter. I just go out there and do my thing and leave the rest in God's hands.
Now, to the fans that are going to be watching Showtime for the main event, obviously, the two heavyweights, what do you got to say to them about your fight and why they should tune in to watch your fight?
It's going to be a fan-friendly fight. All my fights are. And just tune in and support me.
Okay, and what else? Now, I know you were on TV before. What other networks have you fought on before, Fidel?
I fought on Fox Sports a couple times. I fought on the Spanish channel, Telefatuga, the Channel 14. I fought there a couple times. And one time I fought in Mexico. It was HBO Plus or something. I guess it's just in Mexico, but I'm not really sure.
Okay, and the one thing I missed in the beginning I was going to bring up is your nickname. Your nickname is actually the Trisco Kid, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and a lot of people might not understand where that nickname comes from. Can you explain to me how you got that nickname?
My grandpa gave it to me.
But what exactly does it mean?
It's just where I'm from, where I was raised. Trisco is like my neighborhood. And when I started boxing, everyone said they come up with a nickname. And my grandpa just says, why don't you just be called the Trisco Kid? And ever since then, it's been that.
Okay, and I'm going to end this interview on this last question. For the young boxers that are coming up, the prospects, the amateur kids that are in the gym that might listen to this interview, what's some advice that you might have been given or that you're willing to give out that you've learned in your career so far, going from the amateurs to the pros? What would you say to a young kid that would want to start boxing or has just started his career?
Don't be afraid of failure, because it might happen, it probably will happen, especially in this sport. And you just got to stay moving forward, stay learning, and work your butt off and be willing to sacrifice stuff, like going out, hanging out, finding stuff. You got to be in the gym instead.
All right. So, all right, boxing fans, I know we brought it up a couple times, but in case you missed it, Fidel Maldonado Jr. will be facing off against Amir Aman. Fidel is 19 and 2 versus Amir, who is 15-0. This is going to be a great fight. If you have Showtime, tune in. There's going to be a lot of action, a lot of power punches, and I honestly don't think it's going to make it to a decision. Somebody's going to get knocked out in this fight, and a lot of fans love to see a knockout. Hopefully, Fidel, it's not you. I know you got the power. I know he's got the power. I know you guys are both going to make this fight exciting, and hopefully it ends up being better than the main event. So,
Yeah, hopefully.
So once again, thank you for taking time for this interview. Good luck on January 17th. Personally, I hope you get the knockout, and I can't wait to watch you.
Thank you.
All right, and the truth has spoken.